Good. Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about promoting independence in decision making, and that's always a balance between individual support, individual choice, and necessary support. I'm going to get used to this fancy technology. We don't have this just a little background, and Mike did give you some. We are a Center for Independent Living. That is something that all states have at least one of. South Carolina has 3. We serve the Midlands and the Upstate, but some of our programs, including this one, are statewide. The cool things about Center for Independent Living is that we are run by and for people with disabilities. So about 80% of our staff members have disabilities, and this is a representation here. Obviously, some of us have hidden disabilities, so you can't. It doesn't accurately represent, but that's something to know. We think that gives us a unique perspective in relating to other individuals with disabilities, and we're able to motivate them. So, for instance, when we have someone call our front desk and they say, well, I can't work because I have a disability, the person who's answering the phone says, I really need to. And so it's just kind of a cool way to raise expectations for people with disabilities. We are a nonprofit. We're federally and grant funded, and as Mike said, we're cross-disability. And the way to become eligible for our services is just to self-report that you have a disability that impacts certain areas of your daily life. So it's a really simple eligibility process. About me, the first thing is, and you've probably already noticed this, is that I talk super fast. Public speaking is not my favorite thing, and so even though I tell myself to slow down, subconsciously my mind is telling me the faster you talk, the sooner this will be over. So please don't hesitate to throw your hands up if I move past something too quickly. Please interrupt and ask questions. The more that this is a dialogue, the better it is for me, because I do not like to hear myself talk. Another thing about me is I've been at Able South Carolina for 4 years now. I am the assistant director, which means I do a lot of program oversight and then a lot of community engagement. But before I came to Able, I worked at Protection and Advocacy for People with Disabilities, and so I was an attorney there for 6 years. So I do have a legal background, but my disclaimer here is I am not acting in a legal capacity at Able South Carolina, and so anything I say to you today is not intended to be legal advice. This is sheerly for informational purposes. If you want to follow up on something, we do have an attorney who's working with us on this project from Protection and Advocacy, and I'd be happy to connect y'all. So I'm going to talk to you about the SC Supported Decision Making Project. It is a program funded by the South Carolina Developmental Disabilities Council, and these are the partner organizations. So we've got ABLE, we've got Family Connection, we've got some representatives in the room today, Protection and Advocacy, as I mentioned, which is the legal-based organization, and the ARC of South Carolina. This is our website. Right now it is very basic, informational purposes only. But we are currently redeveloping it. We're going to be adding resources. I'm going to get all of the email addresses from the sign-in sheet and send you all a resource list, because we're going through a lot today, and I don't want to hand you out a paper copy of a bunch of links, because there's nothing worse than typing in a bunch of URLs. So you're going to get a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about. You're going to have a sheet emailed with links so that you can click on it easily, and that will be on there, that website. So the components of the project for this grant year are to do family trainings. We partner with Family Connection with their Free to Be Me project to combine with them to do family trainings on supported decision making, professional trainings, which is why I'm here today, individual family sessions. So that means if a family is considering some alternatives to guardianship and is curious about how that looks for their particular situation, then we can sit down with that family or have a phone call with that family and talk them through some options. And then producing some resource material. So you're going to see later a video of a family who has decided to go to supported decision-making group. We're also going to be doing videos with an attorney, with a medical provider, with a service provider, just so that we can kind of share the perspective across the community. Those will be hopefully out by the end of the grant year, which is June 30th. But with videos, it always takes longer than you think it is with all the production side of things. So why is the project important? So we think that the project is super important because parents are given very little information about alternatives to guardianship. Everybody that works with parents of people with disabilities seems to know about guardianship, but not everybody knows about all the different alternatives that are out there that could also support someone with a disability. And then the other one is that service providers typically have not been trained about alternatives to guardianship. So the sources of information for parents aren't getting that training. So we want to help with that issue. So that results in guardianship